Got some good news for you this morning. You can forget the fad diets, the grueling gym sessions. Losing weight could be as easy as thinking yourself thin.
Sounds good, doesn't it? That is according to brain specialist Dr. Helena Popovic, who joins us now. Dr. Helena, thank you so much for your time.
It's a pleasure.
You call it neuroslimming. Explain that for us. How does it work?
Neuroslimming means reprogramming your brain to achieve sustainable lifelong body fat reduction, as opposed to diets that lead to short-term results at best. And that's because the brain is our control centre. It's the brain that determines how, why and where body fat is stored. Think of it this way. Imagine this hand represents your brain and this hand represents your body. And I happen to have some rubber bands to represent the signalling, the chemical and hormonal signalling that goes on between them. Now, if you start to lose weight without changing your brain first, it creates an unconscious tension. And the more weight you lose, the greater the stress until it becomes unsustainable and the weight comes piling back on.
Wow.
And it's painful. Next time you can hold this.
Yeah.
But if you change your brain first, it will start to send a different set of signals to your body that speed up your metabolism, that correct your hormone function, and that actually drive you to do the behaviours you need to shed the excess. So it won't happen without behavioural changes. However, there's no more struggle associated with the behavioural changes because your brain is now on board and reprogrammed to guide you.
Forgive me if I sound cynical here, but it almost sounds too easy, too good to be true. It can't be that easy, though, can it? Just thinking.
The hard part is actually pausing, because so much of our eating is non-hungry eating, is automatic, is just out of habit. So it's about pausing and saying, hang on, am I really hungry? Or do I just want to change how I'm feeling? Let's pause and ask myself, what do I need right now in this moment?
So are we talking about willpower here, principally?
No, we're not talking about willpower. We're talking about awareness, not multitasking when you eat, recognising what you're doing and having nothing off limits. Because you're playing mind games with yourself, but it works. The minute you tell yourself, I'm never eating chocolate again, that's when you start to crave it all the more. But allowing yourself, without judgment, to eat what you like when you need it, that's comforting in itself.
So it's one thing, I suppose, to change your way of thinking in that respect and perhaps apply that for a week and see if it works. But how do you rewire permanently for the long haul to change the way you approach your eating habits?
Let's say you crave junk food. The minute you notice that, the first thing is just pause and take a deep breath through your nose, not your mouth. And this sounds really simple, but what we don't realise is just focus on that breath for a few seconds. That activates a region of your brain called the limbic system, which immediately strengthens your emotional regulation and actually strengthens your willpower.
Right.
Then the next step is, when you're starting to eat that junk food, or you're not going to eat it, bring to mind a really positive emotional memory, a strong memory that makes you feel warm and fuzzy, holding your newborn, your first kiss, assuming that was a pleasant memory. And when you activate a pleasurable memory, you trigger the nucleus accumbens, another region of the brain, that releases dopamine. And when you've had that dopamine hit, you don't need the junk food anymore because you've had what you need. And then the third step is, wait till you get really hungry. Don't just eat when you're peckish. Wait till you're ravenous, and that's the time to eat healthy food, because then you create a strong link in your brain between satisfaction and pleasure and healthy food. The worst time to eat junk food is when you're super hungry, because then you link pleasure with junk.
That goes against what a lot of people or dietitians suggest, because if you wait until you get really hungry, then people often end up overeating, don't they, because they're starving.
Yes.
So what you're suggesting is quite, to the contrary.
Well, you do that during the training phase. So it's because when you're really hungry, you'll eat anything and you'll enjoy it more. And that's the time to get used to eating healthy food. But once you've retrained, then you can go back to eating when you're moderately hungry.
Your new book, Neuroslimming, it's called, also talks about sleeping, how important that is if you want to improve your health.
I don't think I want to hear this
your body
one.
generally.
Earmuffs.
I'm sure a 3:30 alarm is not recommended, but how do you sleep your way towards a better habit and a better body?
Recognising that sleep deprivation is a silent saboteur when it comes to shedding body fat. Because if you wake up sleep deprived, all the hormones that drive you to eat more, which is cortisol and ghrelin, which is the hungry hormone, they're raised. So you're hungrier before you've even gotten out of bed.
Yep.
And all the hormones that make you feel calm and satisfied are lowered.
Yep.
Our willpower is lower. And when we're sleep deprived, we're more susceptible to advertising and sleep and food pornography. So just all those images of food, you're less
Speak to us.
resistant.
Yeah.
So don't even start this until you get your sleep in order.
Right.
Because everything's harder.
Good luck
Well,
with that,
And
Sylvia.
we're just scratching the surface here. There's more to it, but playing mind
Yeah.
games with yourself that
Yeah.
really work.
Okay.
Sounds like a fascinating read.
No hope for me, but hope for plenty of people out there who
you.
are living normal lives. Thank you so much, Dr. Helena. We really appreciate it.
My pleasure.
Interesting, isn't it?
It certainly is.
We'll have more of that on our website.